says it's on. Is that better? Okay, sorry. Good evening. I'm Sherry Scarborough. For those of you that don't know me, President of the West Boca Community Council. Thank you for coming. Happy New Year. We all survived yet another year. And tonight, some of our guests, Captain Moss. Captain Moss, you want to give an update?
Sure.
I'm just going to scream after.
That's fine. So welcome to 2025. Hope everyone had a good 2024. Real quick, 'cause I always go over our crime statistics, and I already spoke to some of the people already, like Elliot and Andrea. Probably the biggest complaints that we get in West Boca are traffic complaints, which, you know, are annoying and not good, but at the same time, I come from a place where our biggest complaints were shootings and drug dealing and prostitution. So if I had a choice between traffic and that, we'll take traffic. I can assure you that we have special traffic enforcers that go out there to locations that you might notify us of larger violations or more important, multiple violations, and we'll do strict enforcement out there and make sure that we try and get as many people as we can to comply with the traffic laws. But getting back to the serious crimes, the violent crimes, the thefts, the burglaries, and stuff like that, for closing out of 2024, just some interesting statistics. Our residential burglaries, which is people breaking into homes, was down 8% from 2023 to 2024. Our vehicle burglaries, where cars get broken into, were reduced 16% in 2024. Our stolen vehicles, they were down 15%. So overall, our uniform crime reporting statistics, which go to the FBI, et cetera, those overall were down. So West Boca's doing good. Doesn't mean they can't go back up. Eventually they will, but we are doing our best to keep things under control. Any questions, comments? All right. Well, thank you very much. Neil?
Thank you, Captain Moss.
Yes.
Also here is Roger Michaud from the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser's Office. Anything?
Hi, my name is Roger Michaud. I'm with the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser's Office. Just this week, our property appraiser, Dorothy Jack, swore in for her next 4-year term. This is her third term that she has served, and we are very happy to have her as our property appraiser. She works with us and gets us going to do great work for you guys here in the community, as well as the whole Palm Beach County. Right now, you should have received your homestead. If you have homestead exemptions, you should have received your PIN cards. Please keep those PIN cards. That's usually how we verify if you are currently a permanent resident here in Florida. If those come back to us, we will send out a questionnaire to verify you are living there. And if you're living there, we don't want you to have to go through that. So please keep those PIN cards. My wife even sometimes has to tell me to make sure I keep my PIN card. So outside of that, we've started our new year, so we're working on new construction. I'm also still working appeals, but more importantly, working for you guys. So any questions you may have, you may reach out to me, whether it be here or you can reach out to me at the office. I'm very happy to help you and glad to be here. Happy New Year to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple things that are going on in West Boca that we've been made aware of. I attended a meeting this last week for a development, a apartment complex. If you know Boca Ria Road, where the storage facility is, there is a road next to the storage facility, and I believe it's a commerce center. That road leads back to a couple of acres of land back there, and there is a developer looking to build a 6-story apartment, luxury apartments in that area. If you've ever been down Boca Ria Road, it doesn't matter what time of day or night, it's a problem. So we're going to keep an eye on that, see where that goes. I know it'll be coming up for a public hearing within probably the next 3 to 4 months, so we'll watch that. I've not heard anything more on Lennar purchasing Boca Lago. As soon as we do, we will let everybody know about that. We've had a great holiday season. Thank you, Captain Moss, Captain Nemsek. Do I say that right?
Like you're writing a check, check.
Nemchek. That I'll remember. I remember money. So, as we see the fires in LA, and how devastating that is, and I have a son that lives there that's been evacuated, so I can tell you it's horrific. And I look back, and if you watched last night's game and you saw everybody saying thank you to the fire department, we here in Palm Beach County are so fortunate that we have the best of all the fire departments. Not only are we fortunate with our equipment, but we are so fortunate, especially in West Boca. I'm a little biased, but we have the best personnel. We've got the best chief. We have it all here in West Boca. So a couple of months ago, or maybe 6 months, it's been a while, Angie Vera, who's here with us tonight, who also works with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and is president of Bloggers Run, told Ellen Winnicott that when she was talking to the firefighters at the one station, that they had to pay for their own cable, their own internet, and the different items that they had to pay for, and that she was shocked. And she told Ellen, and of course me and Ellen, the two gossipers, Ellen immediately picked up the phone and called me and asked if I knew that, and I said absolutely not, can't believe it. And probably within 3 minutes I was on the phone with Neil. Is this true? And what can we do as a community so that our firefighters don't have to reach into their own pocket to pay for these things where they're sitting in a firehouse waiting to serve us? What can we do to make their lives easier and better like they make ours? So that's where we came up with the idea of Adopt a Fire Station, and I can tell you that we already have one business that's going to donate enough for at least one station. So without further ado, Captain, or Chief, Captain, Chief.
I've been called worse.
We got the big guys here, so.
Thank you. So before I go into that, I want to start with good and welfare, with hearts and minds with our brothers and sisters out in LA and all those citizens, right? They're fighting a tremendous battle, and it's not over. They got a long fight ahead of them, and it's a lot of hard work. What they're doing is, you know, you go to work, and I describe the firefighting profession as, you know, we're professional athletes without being in the spotlight of athletes. That's what our firefighters are asked to do. And then they're also asked to be doctors, right? Because they're paramedics too. And then they're asked to do that at 2 o'clock in the morning after waking up 10 seconds later, you know? They got to get up, get down the street, 30 seconds later. You want a studious, fit athlete at your front door when you call at 2 o'clock in the morning to help save you and your family, and whether it's a fire or whether it's a medical emergency. So it's a tremendous effort that they're having to go through right now, because you know, you run one fire, it's one thing. It takes everything out of you, right? It's like playing a professional game. And then you're done, and you got to play another one, and then another one. And that's what they're doing for the last, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. And it's going to go on. There's not going to be an end in sight for a while. They have a huge battle ahead of them with the dry air and the minimal water supplies, all the challenges that they're facing. So our prayers are with them, our thoughts are with them, and whatever resources we can do and send. We're actively involved in our emergency management division, sending stuff. We haven't sent anything to California just yet, but rest assured that we constantly provide to other neighboring departments, states, through our emergency management division. And my second good and welfare is with PBSO. Right? Since we last met, they've lost a couple of their officers, and a very tragic incident for their family and the families of those fallen. Our hearts are with you guys, and will remain so indefinitely. So, on that somber note, So Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. So thank you. It's not just myself. You know, I attribute everything that I have to my fire chief, Chief Kennedy. He's an amazing chief. He's an amazing leader. He sets us in the tone and the direction. And rest assured, when I stand in front of you and I present to you all these information, these topics, these come from him and his team. So I'm just an avenue for him, right? So I'm going to go over some of our annual stats. I did this for you last year, so we're going to have some comparative. This is a little preemptive. This is still in draft form, so that you won't have access to it yet, but it's in the works. I'm hoping next week that it'll be completely released. Don't forget this website, pbcfr.org. This is the website that you can go to for any of this information, or if you want to get us to show up in your community, or you got an event going on. There's a lot of resources available online. But you're going to talk about us, who we are, what we represent. You know, we're an ISO 1 class. This was plastered on the front because this means a lot. ISO 1. That means when an incident happens that you have the brightest, the best, the right amount of resources with the right apparatuses that work. Part of their problems out in California, some of their apparatuses aren't working. They're having problems with their mechanics. They're having problems with their water supply. You have all that here in Palm Beach County. You guys, we are ready for any disaster that occurs here. We're not just a fire department or a medical pre-hospital medicine. We are an all hazards department. So ISO 1 is a certification rating that lowers that and sort of your insurance rating for your homes or commercial businesses. Having that stamp of approval actually reduces your insurance rates, right, for your property taxes and all that. So it's a good thing. So this information is available at pbcfr.org. The annual report, it's pending. You scan this QR code, it's actually going to bring you to last year's report, but once it's updated, I'll make sure to get it out. I wanted to still present it to you today because it's going to be 3 months before you ever meet again, and it's important this information will be available shortly. This stat is off of that report. Our call volumes remained at 154,000. We went up from like 154,070 calls to 154,474 calls. So we just barely had a few more calls. Our population is still the same. We still serve the same square mileage. We do have 51 fire stations in the Palm Beach International Airport. And we also have a temporary station 11 because of the Jupiter Bridge that has closed down. It's now back open to 1 lane, but we put a temporary station to protect those citizens there. 55 ALS transport units. We have more units than last year. We put a couple in service, another ALS engine in service. So we have 44 ALS engines. 6 aerial trucks. Those are the ones that get up to those 6 stories, right? You're on a balcony, you need rescued. You need an elevated master stream, water from above. Those are those aerial trucks, high angle rescues, all that stuff. 2 special operation units. Those are the units that come and do special details like technical rescues, hazardous materials, trench, vehicle extrication. They do a lot of different specialty tasks. 4 tenders. Those are just big water, like pools that are coming to you. They hold 2,000 gallons. Brush trucks, 19 brush trucks. So those brush trucks are being handy, right, with what's going on in LA. If you look at those pictures of LA, it's drier than it is here, but it looks a lot like Palm Beach County. When you look at the geographics in the cities and the development, that metro sort of area, it looks very similar to us. But their fire agency is different, right? So we have 4 ARF vehicles, 4 watercrafts. Those are the jet skis over by the beach. 10 battalion chiefs and 9 EMS captains. We put an extra battalion chief and EMS captain in service last year, serving that Loxahatchee area out in the acreage. 2 helicopters. We have 1,837 full-time budgeted positions and 45 positions that are from a grant, from the SAFER grant. And then our daily staffing is 351. So any given moment, 24 hours a day, you have 351 firefighters that are all trained and organized and talk on the same radios, speak the same language, that are ready to respond to incidents. And that's a lot, you know. So our organization, our upper management has not changed in the last year. We still were led by our great chief, Patrick Kennedy, Chief Kennedy. Chief Woodside is the assistant chief. He used to be a chief down here in East Boca. Came into us with inspections, and then he got moved over and promoted up to assistant chief. And then he has two deputies, Chief Hughes, who's administration service, and Chief Gonzalez, who's operations. And then a bunch of division chiefs. And there's like 6 division chiefs that are under him. And I'll focus on my boss, Division Chief Ricky Rodriguez, Chief Rodriguez, who I report to. And the reason I show this is to show how big we are, right? We have the map here with 7 fire stations here in Western Boca. 51 fire stations. It's a lot of stations. We're the top 10 in the country, right? Throughout the United States. We're a very large department, a lot of resources. So this is my small little battalion down here. 7 fire stations, 3 shifts. You got 3 battalion chiefs, 3 EMS captains, and myself. I'm that Monday through Friday, and everyone else is the 24-hour crew. So our stations, so these are the station highlights for the year. Station 40 had a grand opening, so we opened up a new fire station off of White Feather. It's by military in Boynton, right in central Boynton. It's right here in the middle. And then Station 49, groundbreaking. We have a rescue there in a trailer right now while it's being built, but it's going up pretty quick if you drive down Lyons. It's just north of the new structures off of Yamato, Clintmore, all that. And the reason I mention this is, like, we're trying, and we're going to have, if you look at the void, this is us down here, back 5, right? Western Boca, back 4, there's a void here. Right now, it was all farmland, right? Now that's being developed, we're going to have fire stations in that area. As it gets developed, because response times are going to matter, right? You can only hold your breath so long. Early defibrillation, early CPR is the key to survival. We have one of the leading medical, pre-hospital medical division in the United States. There's hands down, there's no doubt that we save more lives than anyone. Because of the cutting edge medicine that we do. It's evidence-based medicine. We do a lot of trial with stuff. We're in a lot of publication and papers from like American Heart Association. There's our doctors, our medical directors, they like this and they're cutting edge. But they use us as to test, like, hey, this works, let's try this, right? And I'm simplifying it, but it's essentially how it works. And there's the reason, well, we have whole blood, now we have plasma on units, but one of the things that they found is this early CPR really does save life. That hands only, you don't need breaths, just good compressions, just pump the chest to get the pump primed, to circulate the blood. Your blood has enough oxygen in it for 6 minutes. You don't have to breathe. You have enough oxygen that your brain will survive just fine, right? So that's our benchmark. We want our responses to be there 6 to 7 minutes, because then we can start the other stuff, right? So it's a really important fact to us and a really good benchmark for us. So anyhow, that's our benchmark, and you're going to see we're going to have some development. And I've had talks with Jill Gregory, Miss Gregory, from our planning department on this, but there's a bunch of things that are in the work, and of course there's always a budget, but as things are built and as the call volume, we have a very specific committee, a staffing committee that determines when stations are built and the qualifiers for those. So this is our Battalion 5. So from that previous page, right, our stations, you guys should have had this handout, but I'm going to go through them just from top to bottom. So this is Station 54 in the green. Has the largest geographic. It's the second busiest station that we have. 53 is our busiest station. This is the one right there on Lyons in front of Century Village, right? They run our most amount of calls. Going straight down would be 57. This is the eye of the hurricane, right? The eye of the storm, the Lion's Den. Station 57 is where our aerial, our specialty unit is housed. It's where I operate out of. It's where our battalion chief and EMS captain is. Our EMS captain that carries whole blood with him. Now at this time, right at 57, right? Whole blood And then 55 is our Eastern Boca right off of Palmetto Circle North. That services Boca West, Boca Falls. There's a lot of developments there on the east. And then 56 on the southern area, right off of Southwest 18th Street. You can't see it, but it's right in here in the red. That's 51, right off of 441. They run a lot of calls, a lot of vehicle accidents on 441 and the Turnpike as well. 57 also runs on that Turnpike, and then 58. 58 is this brown area right here. Another interesting part about 51 is they also are the first to respond. You see this red over here to the levee. Actually, north of Loxahatchee Road is Palm Beach County. Even areas inside of the Everglades over there is Palm Beach County. So they service and they get over there. We had a call last month where someone got injured on the levee, broken leg, way up north here. Actually, it's north of all this. It was that new station 49 where they accessed from, not Burn Harrison Park, over by Bender's, and they were able to access, and then they had to drive them all south along that levee. So accidents do occur out there, whether it's people walking, running, biking, those outdoor activities. And God forbid, if anything happens in the actual Everglades themselves, we're responsible for that as well. So we have air boats that service from Belglade that come in from that. So call volume. So this is last year. So 51, it goes chronological, 51 to 58. You're going to see we ran total number of calls around 20,771 for the battalion. Of those calls, they're broken down by numbers. I didn't see a whole lot of change in the numbers. One thing that I can point out is that we do run a lot of vehicle accidents. We run some pretty serious vehicle accidents. People tend to drive fast, whether it's on the Turnpike or out on 441. When it's not rush hour, right? Especially the hours just like now. So when you leave here, be very careful. Always look both ways, all that, wear your seatbelts. But one of the things that I want to absolutely highlight is our average response times, right? So when I say 6 minutes, our response time is 6 minutes and 40 seconds on average. We actually improved over last year. We don't see that. The previous year, we had 6 minutes and 53 seconds on average. And that's out of 20,000 calls, not just, that to take off 1 second is a huge feat. They literally build fire stations to take off 3 seconds, right? So for us to drop 11 seconds was strictly because of the staff, the crew, the personnel. They made it a priority. I told them it was my priority. It was my only number one thing to focus on this year, besides everything else we do. It's like, hey, get to the truck, get to the call, get to the truck, get to the call. Instead of just walking, running. I mean, we're literally getting out the door as fast as we can, cutting every corner that we can to make sure that we're ready to respond. I'm talking about going around the stations, making sure all of our stuff is staged appropriately, where we're not wasting a single second to get out the door to get to your call. So I have a big thank you to my crews for that. It's a big feat to say that we're doing it. We just didn't do it for 1 month or 2 months. For the whole year, we were able to shave off 13 seconds off of our battalion. So. And you'll see that, or 11 seconds, so you'll see it here at 6 minutes and 51 seconds, where our average for last year, we're running 20,677 calls. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing for us. So we're still balanced. So this is for last year. And you go, hey, 53 is our busiest station. They ran 1,714 calls last year. There's still 1,000 calls slower than the busiest engine 42 over in Delray. So as busy as I like to think we are, we're not slow, but we're not the busiest. We are a nice, balanced battalion, but what that means is that we get really good quality employees down in Bat 5. So people don't come here to retire. They're not here just to kick their feet up and go, hey, I'm in my last year. And they're not here right after the gate running 50 calls a shift. We get a nice, balanced crew where a lot of our employees actually live down south. They're like, I don't have to drive too far. I get a mediocre thing where I stay on top of my skills. I know what I'm doing. They stay in tune with all the practices. They're well-trained, well-educated. So we get really good and happy employees, which leads to good customer service down here and good skills and development. So I'm blessed to have the team that I have. I really am. I really do feel that way. And it's one of the reasons that I took this position. that I put in for it, that I wanted it, I was offered it, accepted it, is because of the crews and the team down here. You are fortunate for the firefighters that you have, or we have. So then here's engine 54 next, right? They ran just a few less, but they're busy, and they're getting busier. They're right on the coattails of 53. They ran 1,683 calls. Our busiest rescue didn't even make the first page. First rescue ran 3,137 calls, right? Our busiest rescue ran 2,500. That was rescue 53. Following close part by rescue 57, 2,500 calls. Rescue 57, most of their calls are not in their zone. It's backing up 53. Backing up 51 or 55 when they're out. So then rescue 54 was right at 2,200, and rescue 55, 2,200. Rescue 56, 2,200, and rescue 51 was just off of this page on the third page on the top. So we have a nice balanced battalion. This was last year. It's right around the same. So Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. So what have we done over the last year? These are some life-saving stories and rescues. Look, when this thing comes out, when our annual report comes out, it's going to be a long report, but I highly recommend you go through it. There's some really cool information in it, right? I'm going to show you just a couple snippets of what pertains to Western Boca. So this is me and my team. This is the 53 crew. This is paramedic Nicholas Flenzuelita. Firefighter on engine 53 on A shift. They're working out at the station. They're running around. They flip a coin. Hey, are we going to do an extra run after our workout? Lands on heads. They lose. They got to run. They're running around the station. They're on the back of the station. Hey, guys, I'm not feeling so well. He goes down. He's in a lethal cardiac rhythm. He goes into VFib. Crews immediately recognize it. They start compressions. They grab the monitor, tell the other personnel, hey, Nick just went down. They go out there, they throw the pads on him, they shock him. He wakes back up. Hey guys, what's going on? What happened? No, I'm good. What? No, I'm good. He would have been dead had this happened, at home. Or it would have been a much different, longer outcome, right? Call 911, you get there. This goes to show early compressions, early defibrillation. They do all the things. They work him up just like everyone else, transfer him to the hospital. He goes home like 2 days later, right? Fine. Not brain dead, complete memory, zero deficits, no nothing. He's back at home recovering. I just got an email today. Hey, he's coming back. He's back on light duty. He's not back on shift yet, right? He's got to go through some things, some cardiac issues, right? But it's no different than the crews that they're constantly running on the elderly. So they got Station of the Year, saved their own. That was the celebration, the dinner for them that we went to that celebration, right? So good crew, good job, but that shows you the talent that they have, that you guys have, right? This is my story, right? So this is actually my daughter. This was on ABC News, National News with Lester Holt. This is that whole blood program. I was here last year telling you, hey, we got whole blood. It's great, right? A month later, my daughter has a tonsillectomy. A week after the tonsillectomy, her clot breaks loose. She bleeds out into her stomach overnight. I wake up in the morning, my wife telling me that hey, Izzy's sick. She's throwing vomiting blood. I got to take her to the hospital. I don't know if I should say this on camera. Fred, pause it for a minute. My wife's Latino. She can get overly excited at some things. It's the best way I can put it. I go, let me go out and take a look. Let me see what's going on. I see my daughter walking around the corner. She vomits blood, a lot of blood. And I go, all right, she's going to the hospital. We have like an ER center for the firefighters' health insurance. I'm like, let me figure out where she's going on, but let me carry her over to the bathroom while I figure out what's going on. And but this is not good. I go to put her down in front of the sink so she's just not vomiting up everywhere and making a mess. And as soon as I put her down in front of the sink, she does this drunken stuber and collapses and sort of goes towards the wall. I immediately grab her, snatch her, and I go, hey, Izzy, and she goes limp as soon as I grab her, right? At that point, I'm like, is she playing around? I pick her up. She's limp. hey, Lena, my wife, call 911. That's a lot for me to say, right? For me to tell, hey, get my team here, right? We go through the whole process, whatever. We call 911, they come. They give her whole blood outside of my house. They start IVs right there. They give her whole blood, what normally is done in the ER in the trauma centers. Pediatric tonsillectomy, giving whole blood in front of my house. It's not because of me, because it's the protocols, because that's what we have. And this is what I expect out of our firefighters. I was not a firefighter that day. I was a dad. And my team went to work and they saved my daughter. It was a great feeling. It was a great experience. The whole story is there on the QR code. When you see this out, you can scan it and see them. It was a very emotional day, a very moving time, but that tells you how important and how much I believe in our fire department and our agency. Our firefighters can do this for my own family. They're going to do it for yours too. So, anyhow, and then another one, EMS provider. This is Lieutenant on Rescue 53, a different shift. Brian Uzo. He's part of the MIH program. He got an award for paramedic or exceptional service award for his involvement in MIH. It's mobile integrated health. They come to your house and they help integrate so that way you're not having to call 911 for emergencies. So that's some of the talent that you have down here. After every single call, we do these surveys. So we'll call up randomly and say, hey, how are you doing? What did you think of our service? Give us some feedback. We're at a 99.2% satisfaction rating. So this is our quality assurance. It shows that they called 2,404 people. They literally they did this the right way of performing these surveys. They're randomized. They're do you want feedback? So, and I get these reports, and if there's anything negative, of course I follow up. And they ask the citizens, do you want feedback? Do you want to be contacted about this? Do you click yes? I'm calling you up. Hey, tell me what's going on so I can address it. But we're a top-notch agency, and it shows in this. So we all like cool pictures and some good experiences, right? So this is just what occurred last fiscal year. This isn't all of them. This just gives you an idea of what we go through, right? So this is a tractor-trailer fire that occurred on the turnpike. This is a diesel tanker. So it had 1,000 gallons of diesel, 7,500 gallons of gasoline. I don't think it was 308, but regardless, my hazmat is kicking into me. This was a large fire. This is going to occur right here on that turnpike, right? This occurred. It wasn't here in Boca, but it lets you know what's being transported. We had one similar the year before down here. It was a tractor trailer, not a fuel carrying trailer, but a refrigerated unit that shut down the turnpike in the middle of the night. And then this was the LELAC. So this is 52's area, just north of our stations. LELAC, this was a large house, large structure fire. We had one actually in Boca. Terra del Rey. So we don't have that one. Didn't make the pictures here, but I was on that call. I went to that call. It wasn't like this where we lost all of that house. This one, they lost a majority of that home in LELAC. And then I was on this one. So this was another turnpike one. This also made national news. This is the tractor trailer went over the overpass, and we saved the guy. He came out and gave us all the ability to publish it all. But literally, they pull him out of the cab, and he does one of these like, "Thank you, Lord, for saving my life." And it's the clip that still sticks with me. But this was not good. Just missed the turn, went over, and was barely holding on. Our crews got there quick, hooked it up so that way it wouldn't fall. They captured what was there, and then we proceeded to get him out of that environment. So, very, very, this could have ended badly. You know, if this gives way right here, this little hitch gives way, he's going down, and that's not a good position to be in. If you want any of this, ppcfr.org, this is where you'll find it. You'll see these quick links. You can click on any one of these, right? Plan reviews, fire stations, records request, open burning to learn more about hands-only CPR, community safety. And then there's quick links here to access some of these car seat checks or any of that. So I really recommend that you explore those. And then provide feedback. You can call me up. My name's all over that stuff. The phone number's on there to reach me directly. Or you could fill out this complimented crew, works really well. It leaves your name, your number, and I get copies of this, and it goes to my bosses up at downtown. So this is the easiest way to contact us. Let me know how my crews are doing. And this is something I posted for all our crews. So we have this thing called the Fire Vision that communicates to all our fire stations, all our crews. It's just a TV in the station that rotates through. This is the slide that I put up for our guys, right? So when I go, hey, we got to take a picture. Come on, let's get together. This is why. I love these collages. I do this every year where it just shows, you're in here, Miss Scarborough. You're here right next to Grinch on this one. I think you are the Grinch in one of these other ones. But this was, I mean, we did 18 different zones or areas. It was a lot for us. But our crews, they love it. They always hem and haw beforehand, but when they get out there and they see the kids and afterwards, they love it. So we appreciate it. We like the community involvement. It's one of the ways that we can give back. It's what we're known for. Out of all those other battalions, right? Our 51 stations, what do they know about BAT 5? We do amazing holiday parades. That's what they know lately. So, and gelt drops and, yeah, anyhow, it's a good time. So, that's all I got for you. Thank you. So, the Adopt a Station, what we're asking to ask is, yeah, our firefighters, because of, and I don't want to put the providers, the internet providers or anything put them in a bad light, because, listen, they're doing their job, but we're treated as commercial buildings, right, as fire stations. So our firefighters are forced to pay commercial rates for their internet, their cable, and all that stuff. And because of public records request and the Freedom of Information Act, our firefighters do not log in or go into the county stuff. We keep business and pleasure completely separate, right? But we're there for 24 hours a day. We cook together. It's one of the things that we're known for, right? I'm sorry if I smell like garlic tonight, because when I come here, they're like, hey, oh, you got a meeting tonight. You're eating with us, right? Yep, certainly. I lost weight since coming off shift. But we keep it separate. We're there for 24 hours. So we talk to our families, right? We FaceTime. We take care of business during our downtime. When we're not running calls, we're not training, we treat it. I tell my firefighters, this is a job. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, right? When you're here, you're mine for those hours. After those hours, once your job's done, your job's done. You're welcome to do whatever you have to do personally after the job is done. You're not running calls. You're not doing county business stuff. And that's what they do. That's a standard throughout any fire agency throughout the United States. But to keep their stuff private, right, the county's not going to pay for us to have cable or internet, right? And we don't, quite frankly, we don't want the county to do that. The county also, we abide by the county purchasing rules and regulations. So we can't go to Home Depot and buy something. We can't go here and buy something. It has to go through the bid process, right? So it's got to go out for bid. Unless we have a contract, it's got to go to 3 bidders. Lowest bidder gets it. And that's okay. That's the way that it is for the county, right? But for what the firefighters need and want, like they want whatever it is, a Traeger grill, or they want something for their station, they chip in and they buy it as a crew. And imagine, though, your household now, it has 6 families in it. And it's operating 24 hours a day. So things don't last in the stations like you would expect in your own home, right? You have a grill in your house that lasts for a number of years. Fire station, it's being used by 6 to 7 grown men, grown women, all the time, every single night, and it's being used lunch and dinner, right? So things just, it is what it is. So that's why Ms. Scarborough, when she came to us with this idea, sure, how can I help, right? And I think it's a good thing. I think it will definitely show the firefighters of the support of the community, that little give back. They're not asking for much, you know. Any little bit always helps. We had these events over, and 51 has been known for doing this, and we've actually been able to help our agency throughout the years. Boca Woods has always given and supported that station immensely over the years. And then we go to pub eds where we're actively involved with Mr. Jacob over there, and it's a good thing. It's a good relationship to have. But it allowed us to also go, hey, listen, the department hasn't approved these yet, but I see in its equipment, sometimes they use it for safety equipment for the truck, like new cutting edge stuff that's not quite out at all 51 stations yet. We got monitors. They were called 4-gas monitors, and I'm going back a decade. And the community donated the funds, and they bought these new monitors that weren't known in the fire agency, and now we have them. We go around after a fire. If you have a CO call, right, and we have the cars that give off CO, they had that monitor on their truck years before everyone else, because of the community donated the funds, and that's what they wanted to do with it. They're like, hey, no, we want one of these new monitors, and we were always calling for that. So it's a good thing, and it helps provide additional safety for us. So, and what that made me remind me of now, there's even a program out like No CO, right? So no carbon monoxide. It's a colorless, odorless gas. They make these things. If you have someone in your house that you've had this scare or you're concerned about it, get to know more about it. These handouts are over there. We have a whole program in place. These are little stickers that go right on your light switch. So before you hit that light switch, you got to kind of move this up and just go, oh yeah, did I turn off my car? We've had people die from leaving their car running in their garage. And it happens a lot in Delray. It's happened. We've had a couple scares here in Boca. Not many. I don't recall of any fatalities from it yet. We have?
Yep.
How long ago was this?
10 years.
A few years. So I've been out here 5 years now. So it's longer than that. Yeah. But it's a scare. So these are one of the little things to know about that education program. And as you get older, right? That Alzheimer, trust me, I forget all the time. I almost forgot to mention this stuff. And there's something else called a yellow dot program. You put this dot on your sticker, on your windshield of your car, right? And it tells us firefighters that there's something that we need to know about you medically, and we're going to go look for this piece of yellow folder in your glove box. And it has either your medications or your history or any of that stuff. So if you pass out, hey, I'm a diabetic, this is in your glove box. We'll go and we'll look for it and go, oh, look, here's the history. So these are over there too. These are some of the programs that we have in place. So
We started the Yellow Dot.
You did?
Community Council. Ellen House brought that.
You see?
That was the West Boca Community Council that did that.
thank you. And it works very well. And I'm coming down. I didn't even know that. That's great.
It worked great for us too,
Oh, yeah. So, all right. I think that's all. There's a couple other things over there, but I'll take any.
So, let me do our side. So basically, we've met, I've sat with Neil numerous times, sat with Ellen Winnicott, and discussed this with our entire board in discussing how we can help, what we can do, and that is we will open a separate bank account, West Boca Community Council. We're asking for communities, homeowners, businesses to donate to this fund, and when Neil calls and says 58 needs a new grill, 58 needs this, or they need funds to pay for the internet. And let me say, some people think that's not a big deal. Why can't they use the county's internet while they're there? So these gentlemen and women that serve us and keep us safe and save our lives, if you go on to any of the county's internet, if you're in a public building or whatever, you're on Palm Beach County, and like Neil said, it's all public record. So these guys are sitting there in between calls, catching their breath, maybe grabbing a bite to eat, and they need to pay their bills. So they get their phone out or their iPad out. Well, if they go on Palm Beach County's internet system, all of that is public record. And I would imagine it's discoverable pretty much by anybody. And we all know the scams. Captain Moss, I'm sure, can sit here all night and tell us about all the scams of people stealing your information off the internet. So their cable TV, listen, these guys are entitled to sit down and relax at nighttime. And for everything that they do to us, yes, the parades are absolutely, they're amazing, they're uplifting for all the communities that were involved this year. It's a great time. PBSO, Captain Moss, his guys, all out supporting it. So we need to support the guys that support us. So if you're on your board, or if your neighbor's on the board, or if you own a business, or today at the dog park, a woman was talking about how 51 actually, she's in 58's district or area, but 51 responded. She had fallen in her yard, hit her irrigation valve on the side of the house, and she takes Paxlovid? No. Blood thinner.
Plavix.
Plavix. You know, started with P.
I got you.
And she hit her head, and she was bleeding profusely. And she had an eye watch on, and I guess the eye watch recognized that something happened, probably by hitting her head or whatever, and they called 911. 51 responded, and she said they saved her life. They loaded her up in her car. She was stuck then between the irrigation line, you know, if you have a house or whatever, the PVC pipe that's right up next to your house. She somehow, when she fell, she got lodged between that PVC pipe and her house. So they had to get her out of that, and they took her. She said that when I see her next time, she is bringing a check because she absolutely wants to give back. So I'm sure a lot of us have used fire rescue services in an emergency. And again, we're so fortunate to have what we have in West Boca, not just fire rescue, but PBSO. So we want to give back. So we're asking the community to please help us do that. You can call me, you can go email me. We'll give you the information, make the check out to West Boca Community Council, WBCC, adopt a fire station, and we will make sure that those funds go to the station. And if there's something specific that you want to donate to the station, let us know, and we'll make that happen. And we, of course, we'll meet with Neil every month and go over where we are, what's going on, what station needs what. But anybody and everybody, a little bit helps. A little bit goes a long way in giving back to these guys who are so courageous and help us. Ellen, you want to make a donation? Okay.
Right, I do. But I also want for those people who are here, who have friends in other communities, to pass that along, because we will be doing that also. But it is such a positive opportunity that the more people who know, the more people who can reach out. So if you have any questions, let us know or put people in touch with us.
And
We'll reach out to them also.
Right, we're going to be reaching out to the presidents of all the communities that are in West Boca and ask them to join us in celebrating and giving back to Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. And of course, we will continue to work with the Sheriff's Office and do what we can with their needs and stuff, because we are most appreciative. So, Angie?
We have 7 stations here in West Boca right now. You think we can get or Sherry can get some kind of information which of these 7 substations need help paying for their internet? So that way we have okay, 57, 51 is covered, but 54, 53, 55. So that way we'll know what those stations actually need month by month, because it's not something that we can say, okay, well, today we're going to donate to 58. Well, 58 needs their bill paid for internet for the whole year. So it's 53, so it's 54.
I would ask that it goes to just the West Boca Community Council for the Western Boca stations, right?
But we can get from you.
But
Yeah.
we will continue to meet with Neil. I mean,
Because like 51 zone, let's face it, 51.
They're grandfathered in by Boca Woods. We know that.
Yeah, but they're blessed because of Boca Woods, right? But there's others in Santa Foot's not going to be donating to Station 51, right? So I think I don't want to curtail and make it specific to certain stations, because it's going to spread the word out to all the stations, right? So I don't want there to be animosity from one station to the other. Hey, why did they were able to get the Traeger grill, but no one else was, right?
Also, when their TV goes out, that's something that they have to pay on their own, is the TVs that they watch TV on. It's not just the internet, it's not,
That's correct.
the grill,
So we're hoping to raise $3,000 for every station, for cable, for TV, even coffee that they have to pay for. That's our goal, is to raise $3,000 for each station. And we have more than 145 communities in West Boca. So if every community will just give a little bit, or the communities that are serviced by, whatever station, that they'll give, and that the residents will give back. So that's our hope. Norma?
Should we mail the check, or
You can mail them,
it to, and the address on the website?
yes, yes.
That's our QR code, by the way, that
Yep.
has all the information on our new.
Oh,
Yeah,
blocking it.
Question? Neil, in listening to your presentation, which I enjoyed, by the way,
Thank you, Fred.
about response times, which kind of reminds me of like ticket quotas in New York City. I couldn't help but thinking about the Brightline incident. Now, without asking you to comment on the specifics of that crash, which I understand is still under active investigation, can you tell us whether any directive or update in training has been issued? I know that was the Delray Department in your jurisdiction, that sure, response time is vitally important, but not at the expense of public safety. Is there any
Yeah.
comment you can make on that?
we don't have any
No, I,
railroad tracks in West Boca.
yeah,
Thankfully.
we don't. Our agency, two things I'll say to you, Fred, is that response times are always important, but we still abide by the law, right? So we operate with what's called due regard. So that's a standard that's within all of our personnel, and we're what's called EVOC trained for that. We understand that when we do that. So the response times getting lower has nothing to do with us driving faster, right? So know that like we're driving with due regard. The second comment is a memo was issued from our training and safety division just about railroad safety. So a memo that went out after that incident, just putting it was all in our thoughts and our minds, and thankfully my prayers are with those families and the personnel that were on the Brightline. I'm glad no one was killed in that incident, So
Thank you. Norma?
Should we specify the station, or
It-
just
If there's a specific station that you wanted to go to, absolutely specify it, or just for the general fund.
Did the new communities where the homes are rather expensive, do they have to contribute funds
They
for
do,
new
they
fire?
actually, when they go through the process, and if you're talking about the new, Lotus Edge.
Palm, Lotus Edge.
Yeah, there is a parcel that is designated on that land for civic use, or, and I believe Palm Beach County was specific, in that they wanted land there for a fire station. So, that is, it's there, it'll be available when Palm Beach County Fire Rescue wants to put in another fire station.
There's like a separate
Is that near
assessment.
Fort Worth?
I'm sorry?
They have to pay a separate assessment for that,
Who?
those homeowners.
No, GL Homes, when they platted the land and before they started building, they're required to set aside a specific amount of, space for civic use, firefighter, government use, whatever. So that is there, and I believe it is on the, southwest corner.
Yeah, the
So it'll be close to the 441 exit of that community, 441.
And those developers, they work with our planning, that person I mentioned before, Jill Gregory, Miss Gregory, she is our mastermind at the sort of forecasting of what's gonna be needed and where. She works directly with them and goes, no, this is what we need, this is where we'll need it in X amount of time, so that was done in conjunction with our inputs. It's good.
Speaking of civic or governmental facilities, Ann Gannon is going to, would like to build a tax collector's office off of Lyons Road, just south of Atlantic Avenue. So, and I think it's right, I think it would be considered the Linton, no, not Linton, maybe it is. Right next to Meisner Country Club is road and right before the churches. So she's gonna have a public meeting. We spoke to her last week. She's gonna have a public meeting, which will get out to everybody on what that entails and, what it means for us. I know in West Boca, we've told our county commissioner that we have the land behind the library and that we need more services down here. Why should our residents always have to be traveling north, whether it be Delray or to the east, for your driver's license or if you have to pay your tax bill. So we'll find out more about that when she holds her public meeting. And one other thing that I want to bring up, because you were talking about, fire rescue, a lot of times, if you're in the hospital and you're being released and you have to go to a rehab or you're going back to say a nursing home, we met with a representative from a company, Elite, that was purchased and is partly owned or maybe even wholly owned by Fred Angelo, who was a Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. He was in every department, a great guy. He's always been a friend to us in West Boca. Anyways, so we have AMR. So if you're in the hospital and you've been discharged and you've got to go back to your assisted living or nursing home or to rehab, and you don't have a relative to pick you up, or for whatever reason you're not able and you need an ambulance, right now we have AMR. So these poor people that are in the hospital that are waiting to be transported, sometimes, and I can speak actually from experience, a friend of mine, they waited not 1 day, not 2 days, 3 days. He was leaving the hospital to go to hospice down here. So for 3 days, they waited to be transported to hospice. They literally pulled into hospice 3 days after they requested the transport, pulled into hospice, and he was dead within 10 minutes. Never really got the family to get in to see him. So right now we have one company. So this new company that has started up, it's a great service, and we need more of it. The West Boca Community Council, like I said, we met with the representative, and we fully support bringing in yet another company to get our residents, or actually any resident in Palm Beach County, from the hospital to nursing home or rehab facility without waiting hours, days. And I would imagine that right now the wait time is probably 8 hours on a good day. But come on, to wait a couple days, these are your last days and your family's waiting. So we fully support that and would certainly hope that you do as well. The county commission will be hearing that, I believe, sometime in February. So we'll be sending a letter to that effect. So I think that's all I got. Captain Moss? Again, we can't thank you enough. You know how much we love you and appreciate all the services that our sheriff's office provides us and the deputies and how good they are to us in West Boca. Anybody else? Fred?
Any news on Whole Foods? When are they opening?
No news, but I mean, I drive by there and I think, if you've ever been to one and they have the green juice, I love that stuff. I'll be bankrupt going there every day buying that juice. I hope it's soon. I know the gym is anticipated later on this year in the new Home Sense, which looks really exciting. I'll be bankrupt there too. Is supposed to open this quarter, I believe. So good things are coming.
When's the next meeting?
The next meeting is going to be in April, unless we get word on the rezoning of the golf course, or unless something else urgent comes up that we need to have a meeting.
South Winds?
I'm sorry?
South Winds golf course?
No, Boca Lago. Boca Lago.
Oh.
Boca Lago. If something comes up that needs immediate attention, we will most certainly have another meeting.
More lighting on that front access roads.
think there's a power outage because they have generators set up.
From what I understand, they're replacing a lot of the poles, but you're correct. I know that I've left here at nighttime and it is extremely dark. I noticed some new poles, so I'm hoping that happens. They're also gonna be lighting the pickleball court, even though they said a year ago it would be done last summer, it's still not done. It's supposed to be happening, unfortunately in the spring when we probably won't need the lights. But it's gonna happen, so we'll take it. Anybody else? Sir?
I'm Osborne, Public Information Specialist from the Lakewood Drainage District.
Oh, hi, thank you for coming.
Of course, I just wanted to remind you guys that it is the dry season, so now is the best time to make sure you are checking up on your drainage infrastructure and making sure that's in place, because believe it or not, storm season is still around the corner. We are in Florida. It's dry right now, it's dry as it's ever been, but we do know rain will be coming soon, so you want to make sure that your community is ready when it does.
You're the poor guy that I harassed?
You are. I am.
Do you check our hydrants? Does Pond Water check the hydrants, or does that?
We manage, I'm part of the Lakewood Drainage District. We manage the stormwater drainage canals and the right-of-way.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right, so it's Palm Beach that does the hydrants?
That would be a utilities, yeah.
So this gentleman, when there's a storm coming, Lakewood
Right,
Drainage
Lakewood.
says you can open the weir, and when they say you can't, he's the one that everybody bombards with the calls that we're gonna flood out, we need to open, and
When
I don't know if you remember
you say
Rosemary,
open, who gets to open it?
the communities.
We can open our own thing?
CK knows.
You can't just open it, you have to have the permission from Lakewood Drainage. It's systematic how, the weirs are drained and Lakewood Drainage allows the water out into, I forget which canal, the Hillsborough.
Hillsborough.
I'll try to do it. So there are there's emergency operable drainage structures that some communities have. Our district is one of the only districts that have operable structures. Everyone has non-operable structures, will automatically drain. There's always drainage happening, so just know that to begin with. Some communities have what's called an operable structure, which allows additional intervention to lower the lakes in your communities if it's a possibility. If we have the capacity in the canals, and if you have the infrastructure to allow that to happen, we at times in lieu of a storm or after a storm will give permission to open your structure if it's something that you have. Not every community has it, but this again is why right now it's very important to know what your community has, know the condition of your structure, know the condition of your storm drain, because all of that is connected. And go ahead.
Yes, I live in Century Village West over here, Lyons Road. We have two flashboard riser systems at the east end of our...
We're just over at
Sure.
Yes.
So, my question is that considered an operable structure?
Not since 1945.
Not since 45?
No, because we are not going to tell you to go in the middle of your canal, to wade through as much water to remove a board. It's not really an operable structure. Is it in the technical sense? Yes, but an operable structure, you'll see most of them have a wheel attachment, which you will be able to manually open. It's usually removed. In some cases, you'll see like a bridge connected to it. Some cases, it's completely separated from the actual retention pond. So a structure within your retention pond, just because you can lift the board out, which again, a lot of times they've been there for 30, 40 years, I'm not even sure. We're not going to advise anybody to do that. So we don't consider that an operable structure, even though in the technical sense it is.
We're supposed to be upgrading one of our weirs in April. Are you involved with that?
You guys did come by, but that will be permitted through South Florida Water Management District.
Okay, thank you.
So if you're on our email list, before the, I don't even remember the name of the hurricane, we sent out every time Lake Worth Drainage said, you can open your weirs, open them at 8 a.m., I think it was closed by 5 p.m. We sent that information out. Your property manager and your board of directors knows what kind of weir that you have. Lake Worth Drainage also has a good list of the board presidents or the managers that they can get a hold of if they find an issue or if there's questions. So, yep, we'll pump all that information out.
And just to kind of piggyback off of that, we know property managers change, boards change, so now is also a good time to visit our website, lwdd.net, to update that information. We collect that information. It's not to cold call you for any particular reason. It's so we can reach you, the people who are in charge of those structures in the case of emergency. So it's not only coming through the WBCC, it's coming to you guys directly.
What's the name of your,
LWDD.
what's it called, the name? The
Lake-
name without the, without all the letters.
Lake Worth Drainage District.
Lakewood,
Good?
One question. Do we know what's coming in where big lots used to be? No idea?
All right, well, thank you all for coming, and we will see you in April. Thank you, Fred, always for serving us.
See ya. Wait for the next one.